Hey everyone, Keith McGinnis here with KCDC Designs, and I have a short seam, a short piece that I need to add. When I do seams, I like to use biscuits and a biscuit joiner. Those are biscuits, and this is a biscuit joiner, and the way that works is you set it on there, put lines on both pieces where you want that biscuit to be. You set that up there, you match up those lines, start that up, you push that in, and that cuts the biscuits holes. So the way I like to do these, I like to use biscuits myself. I know some people like to use dowels. That's perfectly fine. And the way I join the two together is after I've cut the biscuits, what I do is I put a piece underneath, as you can see here, and I've got just regular box tape. So I made a line where this piece is going to go, and I put some tape across there, and then I'm going to line that line up just like that. Then when I set those two together, I'll be able to take my clamps and I'll be able to clamp that down until that sets up and that gets nice and flush. So that helps me of having this piece underneath here because I've got that clamped down tight. The resin is not going to stick to the box tape. I'm able to pop that up. This is going to be the top side of the countertop, and then on the bottom side there really won't have to be any sanding done because the resin just has no way of getting underneath there. So I'm going to get some resin mixed up. For me, 2 ounces works great. To be able to get resin, I butter that side, I butter this side. I do get resin inside the slots. I get resin inside those slots. I butter up the biscuits. And to me what that does is I'm getting resin that is bridging between both pieces. And to me, that's giving me a lot of added strength. So I've got the alignment because of the biscuits, and then I've also got some added strength in there as well. So I'm going to get some resin mixed up, and I'm 2 ounces, so I'm going to be using quick coat, 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to be putting 1 ounce of each. I'm also going to add some hardener in there as well, and I'll get that mixed up, and then we'll get these two seamed together. Remember, with quick coat, you're on a timeline. So when I add my hardener, I usually add my hardener at about a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I've got 2 ounces of resin, I put in, give or take, you'll get to a point where you get a consistency that you like. I like mine about that consistency, almost to a thick paste. So for me, what I like to do is I like to get the quick coat applied evenly to all surfaces and make sure all surfaces are coated. And then I take my popsicle stick and I push that resin inside each of the slots. And then you'll see here where I'm buttering up that piece, I'll do the same thing, make sure the entire piece is covered, as well as getting some inside the slots. So now we have quick coat on both surfaces, inside the slots, and also each of the biscuits are coated with quick coat as well. To me, that's giving me a lot of extra strength and stability as well. And so now I'm just going to clean off the rest of what's on the surface, make sure I've got enough on my edges so that I don't have some open gaps there, so to speak. And then I'm going to get my clamps out and I'm going to get that clamp down. And that's another reason why I like using that backer piece underneath there. I'm clamping it down to something solid, and that's keeping those two pieces completely flat. So if I'm doing a much larger seam, I don't want one of those pieces either to come up or it just helps me knowing that I've got those clamped down and they are solid until the resin sets up. So this is just a little bit of a flyover just to kind of give you an idea of what that seam looks like. That I've got it clamped down. I'm double checking and making sure everything is still lined up the way it should be. And then it's just a matter of letting that quick coat set up, and then I'll be able to pop the two pieces apart, grind it down, and Bondo up my seam, and move on. All right, quick coat has had a chance to set up. I'm going to pop off. That's why I put the tape on there. Then the clamps just pop right off, just like that. All right, now I'm just going to take a putty knife. I'm going to get between the two pieces, and it just pops right off. So, comes loose right from that. That bottom edge is going to be perfectly smooth, and now all I have to do is grind this down, Bondo my seam, and I'll be ready for paint and primer. I like using the biscuits. Some people like using the dowels. Those are both perfectly fine. That's it. And I'm ready to go. I've got one more seam to do on this piece, but just wanted to kind of give you an idea of how I do it. Hope that helps. So this is the full countertop piece after I had both of the seams bondoed, sanded, and prepped and ready for Stone Coat's white undercoat paint, which you can see there in the drawing on the seam that I did near that 90-degree corner. I will never do my seam right at where the two pieces, or where that L-shaped is, if you will. That's about 3 inches off to the side. So it's important when you are templating to know where the sink is going to be, where the dishwasher is going to be, where there is bracing as far as the cabinetry below that, and then make notes on your template material as to where the best place is going to be to put that seam. So that's what I did, where you see that outline. So on the underside of that countertop is where I put that support piece. And because of the fact of carrying that and installing that, I wanted to make sure that I had some really good support there from when we bring it into the house and when we get it horizontal to where we can slide it in place. So that's all I have for y'all. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions on how I seam MDF, be sure and let me know. I'll certainly do whatever I can to help. Thanks again, and once again, this is Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs. Take care, y'all.